An off-duty Howard County deputy shot and killed in Federal Hill. Fox 45 speaks with residents to learn more about what happened. The suspect in the death of a rising tech CEO makes his first court appearance. The disturbing new details he revealed to the judge. And an arrest is made in connection with the murder of Tupac Shakur. What police are revealing tonight about the suspect.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
We are following multiple stories in a city in crisis tonight. The accused killer of a Baltimore tech CEO appears in court today. We're tracking the latest on the case against Jason Billingsley as we learn more about the murder of Pavel Lepere. But first, we've learned an off-duty Howard County Sheriff's deputy was killed in Federal Hill last night. Good evening, I'm Maxine Stryker. Thanks so much for staying with us. We have team coverage of these stories, starting with Amy Simpson. She has the latest on the deadly shooting.
That victim, Howard County Sheriff's Deputy Ryan Demby, shot and killed while off duty in the heart of Federal Hill last night, just 3 weeks shy of his 24th birthday. A gray Friday in Federal Hill, the morning after what began as a celebratory night after the O's clinched the division title. But this citizen video showing how that night ended, turning violent and tragic along this popular bar scene. Surveillance shows police lights and police tape going up just after midnight across from Mothers and Wayward on Charles Street. Baltimore police say an argument turned into gunshots. The victim, now identified as 23-year-old Ryan Demby, shot numerous times and pronounced dead at shock trauma. The Howard County Sheriff's Office now identifying Demby as one of its deputies who was off duty last night. Deputy Ryan Demby was in a bar around midnight when a verbal argument broke out between other patrons. The Howard County Sheriff's Office said in a statement, shots were fired and Deputy Demby was struck. Social media posts by the agency revealed Demby just graduated from the police academy in March. This post shows his father, fellow Sheriff's Deputy First Class Sam Demby, pinning his son's badge. And this picture, shared by the agency just this week, showing the father and son duo on the left after a charity golf tournament.
It gives me goosebumps. That's terrible.
This Fed Hill resident among those digesting news of this tragedy today.
It's nerve-wracking to hear that happened. I mean, right here, you hear of it in other parts of this city, but you don't really hear about it in Federal Hill.
It's unknown what the argument was about before gunfire erupted in this Baltimore neighborhood. But today, one neighbor who said he lives about 2 blocks away described to Fox 45 News hearing about 8 gunshots and then later sirens. Surveillance also captured O's fans filtering out of Fed Hill as that homicide investigation was just getting underway. Now, the Howard County Sheriff's Office said that argument that left Deputy Demby dead involved other bar patrons. Today, we asked Baltimore police if that means this off-duty law enforcement officer was simply another nearby patron, but that question has not been answered. At police headquarters, Amy Simpson, Fox 45 News.
Just into our newsroom, Governor Wes Moore has released a statement reacting to the shooting death. It says in part, "My heart goes out to the friends, family, and colleagues of Ryan Demby and all those who knew him and loved him. In raising his hand to serve as sheriff's deputy, he made the courageous choice to protect our communities and should still be with us today." Jason Billingsley, he made his first court appearance today following his arrest for the brutal murder of Baltimore tech CEO Pavel Lepere. Fox 45's Alexa Ashwell has been following this case from the beginning and has the very latest.
In court, the biggest development, according to the state, Jason Billingsley admitted to beating Pavel Lepere. The suspect denied bond as these investigations continue. No bond for accused murderer and rapist Jason Billingsley, the 32-year-old appearing by video here inside Baltimore City District Court. The state outlining the charges he's facing, more than 30 for 4 crimes, including the murder of 26-year-old Pavel Lepere.
Not at this time.
Assistant State's Attorney Robin Worley declining to comment outside court, but inside telling Judge Tamika Lunn Billingsley admitted to police he harmed Lepere, saying, quote, He did give a statement indicating that he did beat the victim with a brick and his hands. Baltimore police yesterday confirming they believe Lepere was killed September 22nd. Her body discovered by a coworker on the roof of her apartment building near Mount Vernon that following Monday. Court documents reveal surveillance video captured a man, later identified by police as Billingsley, waving to LaPere to open the lobby door. She does. Then the two can be seen getting on the elevator. 30 minutes later, Billingsley is captured scrambling for an exit.
We don't know if there are any connections previously to Miss LaPere or Mr. Billings.
In court, the assistant state's attorney also outlining the attempted murder, rape, and arson Billingsley is accused of committing against a couple 3 days before Pava's death inside this home in West Baltimore. In court documents, the female victim told investigators Billingsley identified himself as maintenance, that he kicked in the front door, pointed a gun at her, duct taped her, and handcuffed the other victim, then raped, slashed, and set them on fire. Warely telling the judge, "I believe the defendant poses a massive threat to the public. He also poses a serious flight risk given the nature of these charges." The judge agreeing, telling Billingsley, "I do believe you're a flight risk, Mr. Billingsley, and an extreme danger to public safety," weighing the multiple violent crimes, multiple sex offenses, and Billingsley's criminal history. Billingsley, a felon previously convicted of assault and sex crimes, denied bond and kept behind bars for now. In court, Billingsley quiet. The other two cases, the gun theft out of Baltimore County and Billingsley's failure to properly register as a sex offender. Billingsley does have some preliminary hearing dates set, but those might not occur if he's first indicted by a grand jury. We, of course, will continue to follow these investigations as they develop. Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
Fox 45 News is following breaking news right now. An arrest has been made in connection to the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur. In 1996, a hip-hop icon was gunned down in a drive-by shooting on the Las Vegas Strip. He was 25 years old. This morning, Dwayne Davis was taken into custody on suspicion of murder. The arrest comes 2 months after Las Vegas police raided his wife's home. They addressed the arrest this afternoon.
Dwayne Davis was the shot caller for this group of individuals that committed this crime, and he orchestrated the plan that was carried out to commit this crime.
Police confiscated multiple computers, cell phones, and hard drives in hopes of finding information on Shakur's killing. Shakur has close ties to Baltimore. He lived in the city during his childhood and attended the Baltimore School for the Arts. Davis is set to appear in court in the next few days to determine his custody status and set a trial date. Fox 45 will continue to follow this breaking story and bring you any updates on air and online. Max.
Former Ravens player Michael Orr has won his conservatorship lawsuit. A judge in Tennessee ruling the conservatorship Sean and Lee Ann Toohey had with Orr must end. The judge expressed concern the agreement was made in the first place. The Tooheys took Orr in when he was a homeless teenager. He went on to play football in college and then for the NFL's Baltimore Ravens. His story was then chronicled in the book and movie The Blind Side. Orr said the Tooheys claimed they were going to adopt him, but says instead they had control over his legal and financial affairs. Also new tonight, the Archdiocese of Baltimore is filing for bankruptcy. The Archdiocese says bankruptcy is necessary because a new law now allows them to be sued for decades of sexual abuse. It comes after Maryland's Attorney General released a series of reports revealing the names of more than 100 members of the clergy, teachers, and church employees believed responsible for abusing more than 600 children. The Archdiocese says bankruptcy is the only way it can compensate those who were abused while still serving its religious mission in Baltimore. A celebration nearly a decade in the making. The Orioles clinching the AL East title with their 100th win of the season. Thursday's win against the Boston Red Sox put the O's over the edge. And it was a memorable night at Camden Yards as the O's won their first AL East title since 2014. Fox 45's Rocco DeSangro joins us live from the field where it all happened last night and has more on where the Birds go from here. Hey, Rocco.
Hey, Hey Maxime, what's going on? One of the biggest surprises, I guess, from last night was not that the O's clinched the AL East for the first time since 2014. It's that the clubhouse today, pregame, didn't still smell like beer and champagne, so the cleanup crew, guess they did a really good job of cleaning all that stuff up. But the O's can get used to that smell and taste because in baseball, that's the smell and taste of victory. For the O's, this was a team that was counted out by many before the season even began. And what did they do? They went out and won the division for the first time since 2014. They won their 100th game last night, and they locked up the first seed in the American League. So the American League postseason baseball, that now comes through Baltimore. For a lot of these guys, many of the guys on this roster that have been here through the ups and downs, this is the first experience they'll get as far as the MLB postseason goes.
We know we accomplished what we set out to do at the beginning of the season, but we also know the job's not finished. It put us where we wanted to be, and looking forward to getting some playoff baseball here.
Even though that we clinched last night, I think that we want to make sure that we maintain our our sharp edge that we have, and I don't think that anything is really going to change. I think that you're going to see guys go out there and try and give 110% each and every time.
Maybe you went to bed early, hopefully not. But if you did miss the scenes from last night's celebration, just check this out. In baseball, they celebrate when they clinch a postseason berth, the division, and after every single round they win in postseason play. So the O's in Birdland hoping there are a lot more bottles being popped going forward. So a win tonight for the O's, what would that mean? They already locked up that one seed in the American League. It would be their 101st, and that would tie the 1971 team in Orioles history for the fourth most all time. So that's something special for those of you that definitely remember that team. I wasn't born, but many of you were. So you get to experience that potentially tonight. For now, live at Camden Yards, Rocco DeSangro for Sports Unlimited.
All right, thanks, Rocco. Fox 45 is your home for the 2023 World Series. The action starts Friday, October 27th. You can watch every game right here on Fox 45. Senator Dianne Feinstein, a trailblazer in U.S. politics, has died. A look at her legacy on Capitol Hill as lawmakers react to her passing.
The government is on the verge of a government shutdown. I'm Janae Bowens on Capitol Hill with a look at the negotiations.
And it's been a very cloudy start to the weekend. Temperature is only in the 60s right now, but by the end of the weekend, we're looking at the 80s. I'll let you know just how warm the temperatures get and how long that warm stretch lasts coming up in my full forecast.
The government is on the brink of a shutdown as the budget battle continues on in Congress. House Republicans now putting border security at the center of the fight as hardline conservatives stand in the way of House Speaker Kevin McCarthy's efforts. National correspondent Janae Bowens has the latest on the negotiations.
With the federal government on the verge of a shutdown, House Republicans are nowhere near a solution.
The Senate, to their credit, Democrats and Republicans are talking. You guys can't even talk with yourselves.
Instead of pursuing a bipartisan agreement on a short-term solution like the Senate, House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is in a stalemate with a handful of hardliners within his own ranks and is now shifting blame to the White House.
Another reason for the stopgap is to address President Biden's historic failure on the southern border.
McCarthy pushed a spending bill that would include more funding for border security, something missing from the Senate bill. But it wasn't enough for his Republican critics.
The Republican border position has gotten weaker through this continuing resolution.
Gaetz says he's fed up with reckless government spending, which is why he won't support a short-term solution like the Senate's bill.
Well, I'm not voting for a continuing resolution because since the 90s, our government has been funded by either a continuing resolution or an omnibus spending bill.
Because of the House GOP's slim majority, McCarthy faces a choice: continue to woo the hardliners or work with Democrats to keep the government open. Gaetz suggests the latter will be the end of McCarthy's speakership.
Speaker McCarthy cannot use Democrat votes to advance the spending priorities of Joe Biden and expect that he's going to remain the Republican speaker.
Many rank-and-file Republicans becoming frustrated with Gaetz stonewalling.
This has become a situation where the American people are going to be harmed because of one person, Matt Gaetz.
Meanwhile, the White House placing blame squarely at the feet of the GOP.
This is going to be the extreme part of the House, Republican. It's going to be their shutdown.
And if Congress can't figure this out, the government shuts down at 12:01 a.m. on Sunday morning. And federal agencies have already started telling their employees to prepare for a shutdown.
And Janae, I think the big question tonight on everyone's mind is what happens next?
Right. So they are still trying to work this out. The House is expected to vote tomorrow. We're hearing the plan is to vote on a short-term package that would fund the government for 14 days. The Senate is also expected to vote tomorrow. Maxine.
Janae Bowens live in D.C. Thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Also making headlines, Senator Dianne Feinstein has died. The California Democrat was the longest serving female senator in U.S. history. She was also the oldest current member at the time of her death. Feinstein, a former mayor of San Francisco, was first elected to the U.S. Senate back in 1992. Some of her most famous work included the 1994 federal assault weapons ban and the 2014 CIA torture report. In recent months, Feinstein's health became a subject of increased scrutiny. Today, lawmakers from both sides of the aisle came together to honor her.
As the nation mourns this tremendous loss, we're comforted in knowing how many mountains Dianne moved, how many lives she impacted, how many glass ceilings she shattered along the way. America is a better place because of Senator Dianne Feinstein.
Dianne was a trailblazer in her beloved home state of California, and our entire nation are better for her dogged advocacy and diligent service.
In a statement, her office called her legacy undeniable and extraordinary. She was 90 years old.
Right now, you're taking a look over Baltimore and over Towson. We've got cloudy skies over both locations, and on the HD radar, you can see some areas with rain around the region, and that's all a part of our latest weather maker. That's what's been leading to the cloudy skies and the little bit of drizzle that we've had throughout the day. Currently 67 and overcast over Camden Yards for anyone heading to the game. That's pretty much what we have. Temperatures in the mid-60s, along with cloudy skies throughout the game. Across the state, we're mainly seeing those temperatures in the 60s. It's been a cooler day, but we do have a warm-up coming later this weekend. There's not much to see on the HD radar. It's pretty dry right now, but you may notice some areas if you're driving, a little bit of drizzle, and still some wet roads are possible. This is part of our latest weather maker. Now, most of the impact is around New England and in parts of New York, where we've had several flood alerts in place. That system will continue to depart from the region, and once that does happen, we're talking a drier forecast and more sunshine finally returning. Overnight, our temperatures drop to the 50s and the low 60s. And then as we head into the afternoon, we go from the 60s to the low to mid 70s. We will stay slightly below average, but the nice warm up will follow on Sunday as we approach the 80s. On the future scan, notice cloudy skies overnight. A few areas starting with sunshine tomorrow, but throughout the day, the clouds linger for most. There will be the chance for a few stray showers for the afternoon and into the evening, but shortly after that, the clouds and the rain clear. We'll have plenty of sunshine as the day begins on Sunday, and then nice and sunny skies for the afternoon as those temperatures reach the 70s and the 80s. Meanwhile, we're keeping watch on two areas in the Atlantic Basin, Philippe and Rena. Both are expected to stay away from land. However, impacts could be felt along parts of the northern Leeward Islands, the British Virgin Islands, and Puerto Rico. Tonight, temperatures drop to 59 with overcast skies and cool temperatures. And then tomorrow, we're talking 73 with mostly cloudy skies and mostly dry weather again. Coming up, I'll let you know when to expect the nice warm up and how long that warm stretch lasts in the exclusive 10-day forecast.
A quintuple shooting in Washington, D.C., leaving a community on edge. The calls for change coming from the mother of one of the victims. In tonight's Assignment America, a quintuple shooting in Washington, D.C. this week, leaving residents heavy-hearted and outraged. It comes as the district passes 200 homicides this year. Sam Ford from our Sinclair sister station in D.C. has the story.
It is a complex of nice lawns and painted buildings, but a closer look, bullets have pockmarked the bricks here. And last night, bullets once again took lives. 5 people hit in a barrage of gunfire, 2 killed, including 47-year-old James Cooper and his friend. Cooper's mother says she heard the shots.
They wouldn't let me get to him. And I saw my son and my godson laying on the ground. My son was a good man. He got a family, he's married. He work every day. And the only reason he was around here then to come and see how I was doing when he got off from work.
So this week, as the number of D.C. homicides surpassed 200, earlier than at any time since 1997, questions again for the mayor.
I can say we have too many people with guns, and we have to make sure that we're getting to them before they kill themselves, because they're in the back and forth violence with someone else.
According to residents, MPD regularly posts police in this neighborhood 24/7 because it is so violent.
Exactly where the shooting was, the police normally sit right there, and they not around. They never be around when the time you need them.
We are getting ready for another cloudy day tomorrow. Temperatures will rise to the mid to upper 70s, a little bit warmer than today's temperatures. And then we follow that with 80 degrees on Sunday. We'll have plenty of sunshine. We're looking at 82 on Monday and Tuesday, again with lots of sunshine. Mostly sunny, 81 on Wednesday. And then we're looking at a declining trend. 78 on Thursday, 76 with the next chance for showers on Friday. And temperatures continue to fall. We're looking at the 60s and the 70s for the upcoming weekend. Maxine?
Well, we told you a couple of months ago that BWI Airport was in the running for having America's best restroom, and tonight a winner has been announced. BWI has officially been named the winner of Cinta's 2023 America's Best Restroom Contest. As the winner, the airport will receive several prizes, including $2,500 in Cinta's products and services. We'll also get a coveted spot in the America's Best Restroom Hall of Fame. Yes, that's a thing. Earlier this year, BWI debuted newly constructed bathrooms as part of a $55 million renovation project. Well, that's all for Fox 45 News at 6. Family Feud is next. We'll see you again tonight at 10. Have a great night.